Hello, everyone. Woo! Oh, yeah. This is a great day. All product, technology, demos, future technology, you name it, we have it. Are you guys excited? I am so pumped up. So welcome to day 2 of the keynotes. I'm so happy that we get a chance to do this once a year. This is ground zero for all our product managers, engineers, support people, all the people who make this possible. So let's first give them a hand of applause to make this possible. All right, so we had a great day yesterday. Just to do a quick recap, we saw how our expansion of ISVs, importance of community, the editions that we have. You guys heard about the manufacturing editions, and we'll cover more of that. So lots of stuff happening at Acumatica in terms of announcements. And John did mention that he steals some of the best being a CEO to the last. We'll see, we'll put that to the test, and we'll see if we can beat some of the stuff that you saw yesterday. All right, so let's get into it. So what's all this stuff that we hear about digital transformation, right? This is a big thing that we're all in the midst of. There's an innovation journey that's happening, and every 10 or 15 years, there's a technology revolution. So we saw that with moving from desktop to graphical UI. Everything that we thought was all set completely changed when we went to graphical UIs. Then we saw the move to the cloud. Acumatica got it right. We were the first into the cloud. We built for the cloud, and that fueled where we are today. Now we're in the next technology revolution state, which is digital transformation. And what makes these things revolution are because things will completely change. And you, over the next 4 or 5 years, when you look back, you won't know how did you get from point A to point B, but it's happened, right? So that's what we're going through. And what makes this possible is all the technologies that are all around us. We have mobile and how we collaborate, all these IoT devices, machine learning. So technology is a big component of this, making this possible. But it's not all about technology, and it's a lot more than just technology. It's how Acumatica combines these technologies together to drive value to our customers with their processes and people. So if you just use technology by itself, most technology projects fail. But if you combine them in the right way and put them into the proper processes, that's where you have chances to succeed. So when we come on site and we work with you all and we figure out what processes you use and where we can apply the right combination of technologies, and that's when we talk to your peers, when we connect with our ISVs, we include this whole process together, that's when we truly succeed. And that's part of our big strategy. When we think about our strategy pillars at Acumatica, it's all about modern technology, which is pretty much what I just talked about. But it's also about keeping this technology current. I think what makes Acumatica here to stay and to last is because we future-proof businesses. We can change the underlying technology without changing the front ends. We can change processes, but the technology will stay current. So this is a big part of what Acumatica's strategy is as a technology company and a platform company, we completely refresh that platform all the time. And then, of course, functionality is key. We got to stay up current, compliance, all the new regulations that come out. So all the best-in-class functionality we have to continue to put in the product. And then most importantly, we have to become a leader at also other functionalities. And part of becoming a leader is focusing in on particular industries. And that's what these industry-specific editions are about. And we're making a lot of strides in those areas. But when you think about it, if you put all this together, ultimately it's about superior experience. How do you use this software? Does it solve your real business day-to-day problems? And if you do that well, and there's many components that make that possible. It's not just product. It's a lot of different things. It's about automation, it's about flexibility, it's about ease of use, it's about the trust you put into us, both on the security, the trust you put with your partners, doing the implementation and consulting with you. The updates that we deliver, are they quality? Can we push them out? All these things add up to this superior experience. So I think that's what we focus on. That's what's made us successful. And when you look back at what we've accomplished, just every release, just look at last year's release, we accomplished quite a bit. So when you look at the highlights of 2019, we added a lot of technology changes. We completely changed some of the UI elements. We introduced pivot tables. We added side panels. We introduced a lot of functionality to the core general business edition. We touched every industry edition with functionality. Distribution saw lots of changes. Manufacturing got lots of enhancements. So 2019 was a great, great year from product innovation standpoint. But it's not just us saying it. Let's take a quick look at what you guys had to say about it.
I think Acumatica is really uniquely focused to solve the problems for the mid-market space across all the verticals. I think that's the thing that makes us the most excited about our partnership with them.
B2B customers are a huge priority for us, and Acumatica really helps us grow in the B2B space exponentially.
We've been using a lot of different systems to connect into Acumatica, and now with this new release is allowing us to stay within the platform.
So we're really excited about some of the interactions we can do with pivot tables built in, and we really haven't even scratched the surface on what we can do with some of the dashboarding, and that's a big emphasis for us.
It's not just an application, but it's a development environment that can be built on, and that it brings in the community around it to make it better, right? So the potential for innovation is huge. Rising tide lifts all boats, and I think they get that.
With R2 and all the new features and reporting that they're continuing to come out with to support these organizations and their specific, unique requirements, has been just amazing.
All right. So that brings us to 2020 R1. Man, this has been 6 months and happening. We are just so excited. Just like always, we're even moving faster. The world's moving faster, so we have to keep up. Every function has been enhanced in the general business edition. We've touched all the industry editions. Manufacturing saw great improvements. You're going to see demos on distribution and how that interacts with our commerce edition. I mean, every edition has seen a change. So without further ado, let me have Jessica Gadbois start the demos.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? It looks like most of you made it back from last night. That's always a good sign. I am going to start off this section today with some demonstrations around usability. This is something that we are very well known for in the industry, or in other words, user-friendliness is how I like to think of usability. First things first though, by way of tradition, I would like to just please ask you for a round of applause for the Acumatica development team. There is absolutely none of this without them. Thank you. Our development team continues to deliver on time, on schedule, and these phenomenal releases year after year. So big thank you to Mike's team and Ollie's product team as well. All right, so to get us started, what we are going to see front and center here, again, those of you that are new, this is an Acumatica dashboard. Each user inside of Acumatica does have their own dashboard. But what I would like to call out as the first usability feature in 2020 R1 really has to do with performance. So for those of you that are Acumatica veterans, you'll notice when I refresh my dashboard here, all those tiles popped in at the exact same time. Those of you that are veterans know each one of those tiles was designed to refresh in real time. And what that does is it's constantly taxing on your system resources every time you refresh that page. Orders, for example, if you're a company that only ships your orders once a week, perhaps you only need that tile to refresh once a week. So we've added in 2020 R1 the ability for you to determine how often you would like that data to refresh. I'll show you a quick example here. This inquiry is looking at all of my purchased items. That's a big query. I have a lot of inventory in there. So if I am to put it on a always refresh, which of course you can keep if you'd like everything real time, that's absolutely fine. Just notice it's taking a minute to load in that query. Still possible, but we've given you the ability to strain less of the resources, which gives you more speed and better efficiency in the system, which is what all of us are after at the end of the day. So there's one feature to get us started on usability in 2020 R1. I'm also next going to call your attention to the left-hand side of my screen. These are our Acumatica Workspaces for those of you that are new. We group together our different business process areas there. If you're on the receivables team, you very likely work in the receivables workspace. I'm going to open up this marketing workspace, and I'll walk you through an example here where we're going to create a sales opportunity for a potential client. But before I do that, I'll take you down to this opportunities list. And one more time, we're seeing a new 2020 R1 feature here. This small button over to the right, what that does, it allows me to launch a new form directly from this menu. So in past versions, yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, in past versions, I would drill down into my opportunities or another menu item, and then you go in and create a new record from there. One more time, just reducing the number of clicks that everybody is making in the system. These are the things that makes Acumatica a leader in usability. So let me use that to go in, and what we're going to do is create a new sales opportunity for a client that I have been speaking with. So let me drop in this client here, and perhaps we gotta enter in a subject, of course, as well. So what we're going to do is assume that this is a client that is interested in purchasing our products. We are an electronics distributor in this example. So what I'm going to do is use, over on the right, for those of you that were paying attention, we introduced side panels at Summit last year. Now, the difference here, the feedback came from all of you on 2020 R1. These side panels were only exposed on generic inquiries in past versions of Acumatica. Again, for those of you that are new, those would be your grid-like queries in the center of the screen. What we've done, though, in 2020 R1 is now from all of your data entry screens, you can pull in a side panel as well. That side panel gives you the ability to view other areas in the system without actually having to click out of those screens, go open another tab. Right from this opportunity now, I'm seeing everything that this customer has purchased from us over time. What type of items have they bought? They love Coca-Cola, big Coca-Cola fan over here with this client. And I actually see that they've placed a couple of custom orders from us. So with this client, I've decided to go out and visit him on site. Keep in mind, Acumatica can be accessed from anywhere, so perhaps I'm accessing this opportunity record directly from the client's office. By no need to be in my own, and I'm going to certainly add one of those items that they've ordered from us, a few times. So just something custom is what I would like to add to my opportunity record now. So using the data that I got from that side panel, we're starting to fill out an opportunity. Now, because this is a custom item, this client tells us that it would be really important for them to get a file or a picture of that custom item attached to this record. In Acumatica 2020 R1, we have combined the mobile access with file uploads. So all I have to do from this record, if I'd like to upload a file, and I can do this either at the document level here or down at the line level, is I'll select my files, and you'll also see on there that I have this option to upload using a mobile app. That is going to send a push notification directly to my mobile device. So now that I'm on site with that client, I can snap a photo and attach it directly to the record. First things first, let's check out the custom item. My Acumatica headphones here. Go ahead and do that. And I'm also going to get, if you can flip to my smartphone here and just show the notification that I received on my device. And from my smartphone as well, you're going to see that there. Should have opened up the previews for you. But I'm also going to be taken directly into the record now. No need for me to navigate to the record where that's necessary. There's my headphones, my awesome Acumatica headphones that we need this photo of, and I'll upload it to the record. Now, watch when I hit done on my mobile device, you'll immediately see that it has appeared here on the back end. Yeah. This is all happening in real time, so there's no need for me, again, to email myself that document to upload it into Acumatica. No need for a drag and drop or any type of upload directly from my mobile device with just a few clicks. I have now saved that file in the database, completely searchable if I need to reuse it again. All right? What do we think about that one? I'm excited about that one. Pretty good stuff. Okay, so while I would love to spend a lot more time on usability, unfortunately that's all I have time for in this particular section. There will be a lot more in our breakouts later today. I'm going to pause on this for a moment, and I'm going to turn it over to Doug, and our next set of demonstrations is going to focus more on the connected workflows inside of Acumatica. Doug?
Thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everybody. So one of our pillars is that we're a very easy to use ERP system, and I think Jessica handled some of the 2020 R1 features that are associated with that. In yesterday's keynote, you heard Power Storage Solutions talk about how they brought a whole bunch of disparate systems under one Acumatica umbrella, which leads to the connected workplace discussion that we're about to show here. So in 2020 R1, we've made a number of enhancements to the connections for the connected workplace so that a complex organization can work together seamlessly to deliver information, whether they're in the office, out in the field, or wherever they might be. So in this example, we're going to set up a demonstration where we have multiple people involved. We're going to start with a marketing person. That's me. Jessica's going to be our salesperson. Once the salesperson does it, we're going to be a dispatcher. I'm going to do some dispatching. And then once I'm finished dispatching, Jessica's going to go complete some work in the field. And if you're not busy of looking back and forth like a tennis table, I'm going to take it back and I'm going to make the payroll and pay Jessica for the work she did in the field. So all these things are going to happen seamlessly in this demonstration. Great. So if you could, switch the monitor and we'll get it started. So here I am. I start the demo. I'm a marketing manager. Keeping an eye on my leads in the last 90 days, not looking good. I'm going to go ahead and add a new lead. Now, part of the 2020 R1 features, if we've changed the lead workflow and we've changed all the CRM workflows, we've gotten a lot of feedback that everyone likes CRM. People are using it. Most of our clients have CRM operational, but they want it to be easier to use and more streamlined with the workflows. So we've created a new workflow engine that allows you to do that. And if you don't like the flow that I'm showing you here and that doesn't pertain to your business, you can go in and without coding, you can easily change it and add other things. So let's go ahead and create a new one. I'm going to call this the Summit 2020 Lead. And one of the new enhancements with CRM is I could just enter a company name and basically be done with it. Instead, I'm going to save some typing and I'm going to go pick an existing contact and make a new lead for that. The system's going to prompt me that it's going to overwrite all the data that's in my lead, and I'm okay with that because it's going to move things forward. Now, once my lead is saved, you'll notice there's a button up here called Open. Open, this is a configurable item now. It didn't used to be configurable, but in 2020 R1, as part of the new workflow engine, you can take actions that appear here and easily position them for the next logical step. So now that I've done my job as marketing, I'm going to go ahead and open it, and I can control, using the workflow engine, if the pop-up appears and what appears in the pop-up. And now it goes to the next logical stage, which is qualify. Now, some of you may have an inside sales team whose job it is to qualify leads. All these would pop up on his dashboard. He'd be notified of things that he needs to work. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly qualify it. Once again, totally configurable, whether it pops up or what process you follow. Now, at this point, my work in marketing is done. You can see that it's officially been qualified by marketing. So this allows me to take a step back and start working on my next project. So I'm going to pass it back to Jessica, who's my salesperson, and see if she can take Sam Malone and move him ahead.
Thank you, Doug. All right. And now, like Doug said, I am a salesperson, perhaps back at my office, maybe out in the field, but I'm always staying in the loop with what's going on inside of Acumatica, whether that be from a mobile device or from my laptop. So why don't we give my dashboard a refresh, see if I have any new leads in there, which I in fact do. I'll drill down and we'll check out what has come in from marketing today. And I in fact see that I have a brand new lead here that I have developed or that I have accepted from marketing. Marketing has qualified that lead for me, so I do know that this is something that I'm ready to move forward with. In that regard, if you notice this accept button right in the top, I will say that yes, I actually would like to take this lead. No need for me to reject it and send it somewhere else. And since I'm local, maybe I'll go stop by, see Sam, give him a call even if necessary, and he tells me that he is in fact interested in purchasing some equipment from us. It's going to be a pretty speedy project that needs to be completed, so we'll also have to get some installations scheduled for him right away here. Because I have this information now, I can use the CRM workflow in 2020 R1 to immediately convert this lead to an opportunity. Like Doug mentioned, if there's additional steps in your workflow process, we can certainly modify that for you. And I'm taken over to this opportunity record now. On the opportunity, like I mentioned, it's a pretty standard equipment installation that Sam is requesting. So I can use another fun Acumatica feature and just drop in from a template here. As I do that, I'm going to see a few line items appear, one for the equipment that Sam is requesting, and another one for the installation charge there. On this sales opportunity now, I will go ahead and hit save. And at this point, just to recap, we've started with a lead from the marketing team. They qualified it for us, sent it over to sales, and sales now, because they understand they need to go out and actually perform this service, can send it directly over to the service and the technicians team. To do that, I will go up to my actions, and I'm going to say that I would like to create a service order. All of these workflows inside of Acumatica, completely connected and seamless. Now, on the service order, like I mentioned, Sam tells us it's a little bit urgent. So the last thing I'll do here is just make a note for my dispatcher that this is an urgent installation. We need to get done sooner than later if we can. Okay? On the service order now, the service team is going to be informed in real time about the work that they need to perform. So why don't we see how the dispatcher treats this from the service end now that the sales work has been completed. Doug?
Thank you, salesperson. So I'm the dispatcher. I come in early every morning. I spend hours and hours trying to figure out what routes to send my people on. So on my screen, you'll see that I have appointments ready to be scheduled. I didn't come in early enough. I still have plenty of them to go. I see one here, and this one has a note on it. Oh boy, not another one. Urgent. So we'll go ahead, open that guy up. And with one click of the button, I will schedule an appointment. So now this gets me ready to start scheduling this process. So now I've got an appointment ready, and now everything's queued up and ready to go, but I need to, instead of spending the hours that I used to, we're using a new partnership with WorkWave. They have a route optimization service that we've connected to, and as part of that, we've created a new screen in Acumatica called Appointments Scheduling Optimization. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger. And you can see we can come in and we can take appointments that already are assigned and reschedule them. That's if an order comes in the middle of somebody's day, we can reshuffle their day a little bit and optimize that. The other thing is we can take all the daily unassigned appointments, including that new urgent one that just came in, and we can schedule them. Now over here on this side, you see I have a list of different people who can take advantage or I can schedule. Jane Doe is going to be the one that I'm going to go ahead, but I could schedule multiple people at once if I chose to. So with the new partnership, this simple one click away is now making a call out using AI and ML and machine learning from our partner WorkWave to make that connection and propose an optimized workflow for our person that's out in the field. Now, now immediately Jessica could be notified of this, but before I turn it back to her, I'd like to show the resulting optimization that appeared on our map. So we can go in, we can take a look at Jane Doe, her appointments, and we've scheduled most of our things in and around Las Vegas, finishing up over there in Henderson towards the end of the day. So all that, it took a series of appointments, figured out travel time, figured out appointments, the duration, and scheduled it quickly and easily so that now Jessica can go do her job in the field.
Thank you, Doug. So switching gears one more time, if we can just call up my mobile device on the screen here, I am going to assume the position now of a field service technician. This is where the power of Acumatica's mobile device really shines. Of course, in the field service workspace, or the field service industry, field service organizations, having mobile access to tablets, smartphones are extremely critical. So I'm going to log in as Jane Doe to my mobile device here. And of course, I'm going to see a list of appointments on my screen. So I'll scroll down a little bit and I will select my appointments list. Now, of course, Jane is going to see a number of appointments out there that she has for the day. I can go ahead and select any of them here. But what we want to highlight for Acumatica 2020 R1 is that we have added a few additional travel features to the mobile device. So what I can do as a technician now is not only can I start and end this appointment to capture the time, which is what past versions of Acumatica have done, we've also, based on your feedback, included travel time in our mobile device for services as well. So from my appointment, I can actually go in here, and if you look at that second option, I can start travel. That is going to capture the exact time that I have started this travel, log it to my ERP, of course, so on the back end, my manager knows where I am and what time I started that exact work. So I'll just say process there, and keeping in mind some of the additional mobile features that come with field service. If you look at that option to actually, let me go back into the appointment. If you look at the option to view this on a map, for example, common smartphone features that we are all familiar with that you can take advantage of inside of Acumatica. Signature capture, if you'd like to capture the signature of that client while you're out in the field with them. Take a prepayment. These are all features inside of Acumatica that many of us have come to know and love, so just a quick reminder. And then one more time, when I'm completed with that, or excuse me, when I actually start the appointment, you'll notice that I have a new time log to capture when the appointment has started, and then of course, when I actually complete the appointment, we will see that travel time logged against it as well. So a small piece that has been added to the field services time tracking functionality, but that's going to allow our customers in that space to get a lot more accurate picture of their costs. I will stop there for now, and Doug, I'll send it back over to you to finish this up with paying me for the work that I've just done.
Of course. Yeah, while Jessica was working, I was checking up on whether she was and at the right location. Good news, she was actually at the assigned appointment location sitting in this building, as you can see. So I've also taken the liberty to go ahead and process and approve her time card. All the information flowed through from her appointment over to her time card. We went and approved it. And now we're ready to run payroll. So payroll is now integrated with Acumatica in 2020 R1. People were excited about that yesterday. I hope you're still excited about it today. There you go. Heard a loud scream from the payroll product manager. We're going to go ahead and pull up a payroll run. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some employees to this. Jane Doe is the only person we had doing anything today. She's paid according to her time card, so I check that box. And one massive amount of a $30 paycheck is ready to be dissolved over to Jennifer, or to Jessica, to Jane. I think that's how we're going today. So we can go in, take that off hold, and quickly release the payroll. At that point, you'll see a paycheck reference has showed up. And now we've completed our end-to-end workflow, starting with me as a salesperson, banging back and forth a few times amongst other people in the organization, everything real-time, centralized, and tightly controlled through the new workflow automation engine that we're delivering in 2020 R1. For the next demonstration, we're going to start talking about we're going to invite Ali back on stage, and he's going to go over some of the new connected, after the connection, we're going to go over the field editions.
All right. Awesome, isn't it? Connected workflows. You saw it go into industry editions. Acumatica is truly delivering the promise of ERP. I think we're the only cloud ERP solution that can do that, so I'm so excited. But by the way, I can't believe so many people are excited about Payroll. No, Payroll is fantastic. I mean, having it in the system is just unbelievable. Okay, let's talk about industry editions. So you saw a little bit about field service. You saw how it's connected to our CRM, but this goes beyond that, right? So you heard about the announcements about manufacturing and also what we're doing with commerce. So I want to take a little bit more time to talk about our commerce edition. This is all about making your life easy, not having to synchronize multiple systems, managing your system from one source, about commerce-enabled ERP. We've started with a big corporation with Bigcommerce team, and we can integrate with Magento, Shopify, and some of the others. But the whole point of this is that you can integrate Acumatica to any commerce solution, right? That's our goal. But Bigcommerce, we feel, is one of the best because not only can it do B2B, it can do B2C. We have a technology match. So for that, I'm happy to say we've got one of their technology partner, senior director here. So let me invite Sachin to join us on stage. Sachin. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Very
Hello,
excited.
Sachin.
Hello.
So glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about Bigcommerce.
Yeah, I would love to. But before I get into that, let me actually share a quick story about personal experience. Last year at the Acumatica Summit in Houston, I was here in the audience. This was my first ever Acumatica event, and I got to learn so much about Acumatica, Acumatica customers, Acumatica solution, and Acumatica ecosystem. And I realized that Bigcommerce can play a big part and contribute a lot to this ecosystem. And I also believed and hoped that Bigcommerce will be here on the stage next year, and here we are today. So very excited to be here. Real quick about Bigcommerce. Bigcommerce is an e-commerce platform for businesses that want to sell products online. We serve customers at all stages of growth, so it could be a B2B business that's just starting to sell online, or an established business that's doing north of 100 million online. We can manage that. We have over 68,000 customers, and last year, collectively, they transacted over $7 billion on our platform. What's unique about Bigcommerce is we're a true multi-tenant SaaS e-commerce platform. We own the mid-market e-commerce space, and as Ali mentioned, we are uniquely set up to manage successfully both businesses that are doing both B2C and B2B business models on a single store.
Great, fantastic. So tell us about what does the partnership mean to you, and how is it different than some of the other partnerships that we've done?
Absolutely. This is certainly a unique partnership, and I think 3 areas that I feel Bigcommerce and Acumatica partnership is unique. One, our value proposition. There's a natural synergy between how our value propositions align together, right? So when you think about why customers select Bigcommerce, they select because one, it's easy to use, right? So they don't have to have developers on staff to be able to manage their e-commerce presence. 2, it's scalable and built for growth. So businesses can select e-commerce, and then as their businesses grows, they can stay on the platform. And 3, we offer the best TCO, total cost of ownership, to our customers. I think all the VARs in the audience can really relate to this value proposition and messaging, because these are some of the reasons why customers select Acumatica as the ERP. The second reason is really around the integration. I think it's really amazing to see how much commitment and investment both Bigcommerce and Acumatica are really investing in this integration. And we're not thinking about this integration as a one-time connector. We're really thinking about this as long-term, because both of our platforms are going to continue to evolve, and we want to make sure that that integration is tight so customers can benefit from it. And the last thing I would say, Ali, is we're two pieces of the puzzle that just fit together, right? Okay. It's when you think about a customer's journey into digital transformation, they have to get their back office in order and the front office in order. Acumatica plays a huge part in helping them get their back office in order, and Bigcommerce plays the customer-facing online experience for their consumers.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to a great partnership.
Thank you very much.
So you all want to see the integration? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to mix some distribution edition with commerce edition so you get the sense of the whole flow. So, Doug, are you taking it away?
Jessica's going to start the
I'll
order.
start us off here.
All right.
I got to get my
All right.
warehouse. I got to put my warehouse together first.
So, one more time, switching roles here, and this time I get to be a B2c Commerce Buyer. So here I am on my electronics website. Like I mentioned, I didn't get those custom Acumatica headphones from nowhere. And what I can do on this website, of course I can place an order, but first of all, just notice that really clean interface of Bigcommerce. Of course, this is a site that we created for our summit here, but notice that these items are certainly the stock items coming from inside of Acumatica. All of this is designed to allow the amount of time you are spending maintaining your website to take a lot less resources. I'm going to purchase a laptop in this example today. So I'll take you into my laptop's product category, and I'll go in here and decide that we are in fact ready to choose the options for this laptop. We all know that in commerce businesses, we want to be able to make our own choices. So if I would like to determine the style of laptop that I'm buying, choose some options here. I'll go ahead and define what is considered a matrix item in an ERP system. For those of you that aren't familiar with that term matrix item, it's representing a product with a color, size, style, or other types of categories that need to be maintained. Now, in Acumatica 2020 R1, we do fully support matrix items now, excuse me. Yeah, let's get a round of applause on that one. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. The matrix support is something that a lot of you have been requesting, and you'll see that fully rolled into Acumatica 2020 R1. Now, of course, who doesn't want the free shipping option? So I select the free shipping option, and I'll also quickly move through to checkout here. Always keeping in mind that user experience. Bigcommerce being a very, very user-friendly system allows me to make these types of easy entries on checkout. So I'll go ahead and place this order here. Now, as I'm placing this order, of course we know that the power of the integration is pushing this over to Acumatica in real time, but there's a lot more happening behind the scenes there. One thing to note, I picked the free shipping option, of course, but keeping in mind Acumatica's shipping integrations. Out of the box, UPS, FedEx, a USPS integration through stamps.com. We have a ship engine option, Easy Post. There are many, many shipping integrations for all of you to take advantage of that work inside of Bigcommerce as well. We also would like to just note the tax integrations here in my demo environment, not necessarily set up for all of you, but Avalara, Vertex, the guys that are very, very well known in the industry for their best-in-class tax support, fully integrated here as well. And then finally, from a customer service perspective, I can always go back to my orders, similar to the likes of something like Amazon. If I'd like to check out maybe an order that has already been shipped, I'll have things like the tracking number, order status, so I'm always kept in the loop on where my order is and perhaps any hiccups that have occurred along the way. So I've completed my job as the buyer. I've placed that order for a custom laptop. Let's see how this turns over on the Acumatica side for those working in the warehouse to go ahead and start fulfilling this order. Doug?
Thank you, Jessica. Here I am out in the warehouse. Now before, you'll see I've already got a commerce order that has come in. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk about some new warehouse management enhancements that we've made in 2020 R1. So if we can switch back to the slide deck for just 1 second. So here we have a pictorial of my warehouse. It's a little bigger than the one I've got here on stage, but you get the idea. Prior to 2020 R1, we had option number 1, just a direct pick. So if I had 2 or more orders waiting for packing, I do a direct pick by going out, grabbing order number 1, doing my scanning, bringing it back to my packing and shipping station, shipping it up. Order number 2, go back out to my warehouse, grab order number 2, grab it, bring it back to the packing station, pack it up. And it's very healthy. I get a lot of exercise doing that, but maybe it's not the most efficient method for a high volume warehouse. So in 2020 R1, we've introduced wave and batch picking. For people that have a lot of orders that come in, that's going to allow you to be much more efficient with the way you process. So we're going to show batch picking. In batch picking, I'm going to go get a bunch of orders. I'm going to go out to my warehouse with 1 trip, put them on a cart, and then I'm going to bring them back to my packing station where somebody else can take over and efficiently pack them. All right, so after the preamble, let's go back to my software and take a look at how it's going to go. So here's all my, you can see my commerce orders that I have today. I can go into here, I take a look, and I'm going to open up this one. And I'll go ahead and get this one through the process. So I'm going to start by creating a shipment. Now normally I would have this set to run to meet my shipping deadlines. An automated process would come and cause that to happen. Once that's done, my dashboard's refreshed, and you can see now I'm being notified of all the orders I have to pick and pack. So one of the new things that we have to do is we have to create print and pick lists. And they have to be, the options that I showed in my warehouse diagram are now available here. Business as usual, wave, and batch. So we're going to go ahead to our retail warehouse and pick the batch picking solution. You'll see I can go in here if I need be and filter down the batch that I want to do. So if you want to filter by carrier, for example, or you want to filter by customer or pick out different things, you can set up the batch pick the way you want to do it. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and manually pick 2 items to keep the scanning to a minimum. I'm going to process them. And now I've gone ahead and I've created my list. So the next step I have is to come to my picking worksheet. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up and print my pick list. So you'll see that this pick list, I went through it quickly. Let me see if I can make that a little bigger. I'll have my new batch pick, and I'll have it in different locations, but it's going to guide me through the warehouse so that I can go through here and then bring everything back to my sorting location. All right, let's go ahead and switch to the mobile phone, and I'll take over as the warehouse guy. All right, so here's my Acumatica application. As I scroll down, get to the warehouse management area. I'm going to click Warehouse Management, and up in the top left is Pick, Pack, and Ship. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start scanning orders at this point. So once my screen appears, I'm going to go ahead and scan I scan the pick list that's appearing on my screen, and that's my batch pick. So now I'm aware that I've got to go to R1 S1. So I navigate out here to my area, and I'm going to go ahead and scan R1 S1. And it says to pick an item. So I'm going to grab Jessica's computer, go ahead and scan that. Now it immediately says I got to do another location. So this one's R1 S2. So I come here, scan that, and I grab another item. This is why you take a cart out into the warehouse with you. And we're good to go with that now. So at this point, I'm ready to take things back to my packing station. Looking a bit disorganized, but I'm still doing all right. The software's working, maybe I'm just not. So here's Jessica's computer ready to send in. So next, I would go into pack mode. So I'm not going to, in the interest of time, I'm not going to show you going through and scanning this and putting each item into its prospective order. We're going to have the Internet of Things that Ollie's going to introduce is able to take this process in terms of some future technology that we have and make it even more efficient for the people in my shipping and packing and sorting stations to do their job. So I'm pretty happy with the new wave and batch picking, the connected workflows, and everything else that we're bringing to you in 2020 R1. Thank you for your attention on that. Woo!
Be careful with that stuff. It's a big screens. So you guys saw some great demos of Commerce Edition and distribution, all the things we've added with batch picking, wave picking for very high volume shippers. But every industry edition has seen changes. You saw how we talked about, Manufacturing Edition. And Manufacturing Edition now also supports data collection. So we don't have time to show that today, but there are breakout sessions that we're showing that. You can go see more about Commerce Edition at 11:30 at the breakout. Bigcommerce is here at the booth, so you can go learn more there. Manufacturing, Batchmaster's here. Of course, our whole Jazz team and Acumatica team is here. There are breakout sessions on that and distribution edition. So when you leave here, make sure you go check out those editions even more. But these connected workflows are just amazing. So 2019 R1 has made lots of enhancements across the board, but what's next? You all want to know what we're going to be doing this year? All right. So let me have our Chief Technology Officer, Mike C., come and talk a little bit about what we're doing in 2020, this year and beyond. We're supposed to be stage right.
Good morning to everyone. That's
Mike?
very funny because yesterday I told Ali that I'm going to go out of this way. No, it was vice versa. Okay. I told that I'm going this way and Ali to say, no, go this way, I will remember. Okay, very nice to see you here. And actually I'm a little bit scared after this great demos from Jessica and Doug. I'm going to talk a little bit about our future technology direction, what you can expect in 2020. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the usability, user experience, and the user interface. So one of the biggest priorities for the development team in 2020 will be the UX experience. And we start with the new user interface, and you've all seen the changes we've done in the past 2 years, coming up with a new way of navigation, side panels, enhancing our dashboards, and stuff like that one. But now we're ready for bigger changes, and we will switch towards to the entry form inquiries and make that one look nicer and more user-friendly. So that's one thing. But the user experience is unfortunately not only about the great user interface. It's about the experience that user have through the connected workflow. It's how convenient for him to locate the item, if he have all the actions that he need to do at the right place and so on. And this year we will invest a lot into the usability study. We will conduct a series of the usability study with our clients, and we're going to take this feedback and implement it inside of the application to make it even more user-friendly. And last but not less important is the performance. We also will work to optimize the user interface performance because speed is the ultimate design, right? All of this nice user interface and connected workflow doesn't mean anything if you have to wait for 10 seconds for every action. With that one, let me give you an example of the UX job or user interface job that we've done with our guys, and that's where we're leaning towards to the application. Over here, you can see the new way of the entry form. And you can see that it's pretty much cleaned up. We realigned the elements on the user interface to make them more convenient for the data entry. We created this information panel on the right side and consolidated the actions. And then the actions will look the same way as on the main menu, and you will be able which one you want to pop up on the top level. We also will work a lot to improve the visualization and feedback from the software. Over here, you can see that the way we highlight the errors changed. We will go away from these pop-ups you have on the errors towards to the information panel on the right side, and so on. And with that one, that's something that you could expect. Do you like it? Okay, the second thing that we would like to work on is automation. Because we all know, regardless how beautiful is the user interface and how convenient for you to click the buttons there, if we are given an option not to click the buttons and somebody doing the job for us, we would select that option, right? So ultimately, from the user perspective, the ideal design of the software is one big green button, do it all for me. And as an engineering team, that's something that we're going to work on. And from our perspective, the two things that we're going to invest into is workflows and automating the workflows by means of various kind of machine learning technologies and latest technologies we get, and delivering more pre-built integrations into the system that connects Acumatica towards to the banking software to automate reconciliation, towards to the marketing systems to automate generation of the lead intake in the orders, towards to the office product like Outlook or Excel to simplify the integration and make users spend less time on tedious work and tedious data entries. And with that one, let me move to the demo where we will show this kind of connected integrated flow with the use of these technologies. Okay, over here you can see my inbox, and in my inbox I do have an email from the sorry, let me clean up all these reminders. I do have an invoice from my vendor which sends me, please find your latest invoice for your Suite Life and make sure you pay it online. And to do that, I need to move it to the system. So what I will do here, I will go towards to the additional actions that I have on the screen, and that's inside of my Outlook, and we'll select Open Acumatica plugin. The system will analyze for me. Okay, that's a funny one. Okay, the system will analyze for me if the document do have an attachment and will add up a new option over here, which I can select that calls Create Accounts Payable Bill. With that one, system will take this attachment out of the system and send it to the Acumatica server, where we will take this document and submit it to the Azure recognition services, where the system will read this PDF and basically process it and return me back the data that has been recognized, which you can see is happened here. Now, that's not all. Now what I can do, I can click into my form and see from where the data comes from, right? I can see here's the vendor name, here's the date on the document, here's the amount, and you can see we recognize the lines too, and it points me the lines, the quantity information, and so on. So it's pretty neat. But I don't have my description. So what I can do, I can select the field that I want to fill up and go to the form, and system will recognize me and show me all the recognized text here. So I will pick up, like, let's say, notes from the document, and at this point I'm happy with the data that has been entered, and I will save this data and convert it to the accounts payable bill. What is important, all the actions and remapping that I did on this screen will actually go back to the machine learning services and will be used to educate the service. Therefore, your first recognition may be not that perfect, but over the time it will automatically tune up to your actions and will start really automated and perfect. Do you like it? Okay, now imagine we do have this great nice user interface with one big green button, do it all for me, right? But customers still not happy. Why? You know, they come back to you and say, you know, I wanted it to be blue. Okay, so with that one, we move into the next section where we will be really focusing our attention is a personalization. And personalization means adjusting the software right for the customer needs, making it to use and to work for the customer the best way so the customer don't even notice it exists. So that's our ideal way, right? And with that one, we will be focusing as a development team on delivering more and more tools, is what we call low-code, no-code customization, where actually consultant in the field can adjust software as close to the user needs without involving programmers so much. And let me show you a demo on how it will look like. Okay. Doug was mentioning this new workflow automation engine, and many of you for years was wondering what this creature is and how I'm going to use it. And in this release, we really reworked it significantly and made it in such a way that it's really easy and intuitive to use it. Let me go to the opportunity screen that Jessica or Doug was showing earlier. Just a second. And I will use this great new button. It's funny one. In our development team, this new button was called the best invention we did in the new release. Okay, and let's imagine I'm a new user. And as a new user, I do have this opportunity screen, and I don't know what's my flow and what I'm going to do with that. What I can do, I can go to customization, and I say, show the state diagram. And this one will highlight me the diagram and all the possible transition I can do through the document. It will highlight me the current state of the document, and then I can choose the state and see what kind of transition exists. So just by itself, it's quite helpful, right? But what I can do now, I can actually customize this behavior. So I will click this Customize Workflow button and go to the project, customization project where this workflow is added, and I will switch to the same visual view over here. So I can adjust it, I can drag and drop and improve the visibility, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a hold state where I can move my order from the one state, and then I can move it back to the open state with some reason. So let me try to do it. First, I will click over here, and I will say I want to add a new state, which I called hold. Sorry. And my new state is created. Then I will click to add a transition from the one state towards to the whole state. I don't have a specific action for that, so I will create a new action, which will be a workflow action called hold. And I will indicate that I want to see it in the actions menu. I also want to may indicate that I want it on top level. Anyway, let me just create it, and I will say that my target state will be hold. So I will click OK button, and my transition is created over here. You can see it. And now, from the hold state, I will say that I want to add a transition, and over here I will use existing action open. And I will say that my target state is open. Okay, here we go. Was it easy? Okay, now, I was carefully guided to stop at this point. But I want to take my bet, as this year, you can notice I'm qualified for 2 demos in a row, and I believe into my luck. We're in Vegas, right? Okay, so I will hit publish current project process, and while it's publishing, it will take a couple of minutes. I just want to say that this kind of things makes your life really easy when you're in the field and you need to implement it. And that's something we're going to invest this year a lot. Okay. Seems my process is finished. Let me make sure. Okay, no, now it's finished. Okay. Website is updated, so I will close that one. I will close my project over here, and I will return back to my opportunity screen, and I will just reload the screen. Give it a few seconds. Okay. So first of all, let's check if our changes took place. So I will take some in the won state. Okay, here we go. And let's check our diagram. Okay, it is here, and I do have a hold transition. So now I will go to my actions, and I click hold, and voila, my document moved to the hold state. And now I move back, and I'm doing open, and you can see that it asked me the reason why I move it to the open, because I selected a predefined action which contains a required parameters for this transition, and hitting the dot, and it's on the won state. Great. Okay, thank you very much, and I just want to reiterate. There are 3 things that as a development team we will be really focusing on this year, and I hope you see the outcome of that as soon as possible. That is user experience, automation, and personalization. Okay, thank you, and the next person on stage is Ajoy, and okay, we are not good. Okay, thank you.
Mike was trying to steal the job of voice of God there. Awesome. So while Mike is thinking about how to change the green button to blue button, I'm wondering, why do you even need a button? Just read my mind, right? So that's what brings the future technology. No, we're not working on mind reading. Just kidding, just to be clear. Great to be here to talk about what we are looking at. You know, we're taking you on a time travel year. We start off with what's coming in 2020 R1, kind of the next year, and then the next, kind of think about in the time span of like 1 to 4 years. What are some of the areas we can invest in and further the progress here? From a technology standpoint, I mean, great time now. There's so much innovation happening across infrastructure, across the machine learning services. You know, a lot of the devices and sensors are becoming core part of our life, right? We see it everywhere. And organizations that were part of some of the industries that traditionally were not leading the way are starting to change. And we're seeing that across all of these different industries. Like agriculture, for example, they're starting to use IoT sensors and drones. Construction, we're seeing a similar trend happening there. New generation of workforce is demanding modern solution where you can read and have access to the data from the mobile, and having all of those different organizations, whether you're in the office or field, you know, staying connected. Some of the stuff that Doug and Jessica talked about, connected workplace. And for us, you know, that belief is coming from, you know, the notion of digital transformation is bringing all of the people together, right? You know, we talk about, you know, at Acumatica, ERP being a team sport, right? You know, you're not going to get it done alone. And we want to just champion the investment each of the people in the organization, the employees in the organization are putting into their life in delivering what they're delivering from a day-to-day work standpoint. How do we make that easier? How do we make them the superheroes? That's one of the things that, you know, we think about, and John talked briefly yesterday on that. You know, we are all in Vegas, right? We know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's kind of more like stays in a CCTV backup tape somewhere, right? But what happens in ERP shouldn't stay in ERP, right? I think we want to make sure whatever data coming in ERP with the right access control, the employees and the users of the organization have access to it. And that's why we put a lot of investment in building this open architecture where we can enable connections to multiple services that your organizations will use. Make that connection and communication as easy as possible. You know, you saw a lot of the ISVs out there in the marketplace, you know, both here at the show, but as well as online. They're putting a lot of investment into this. And we also have many of these application services that you see on the screen that Acumatica is working on and maintaining and supporting and so on. And today, I'm excited to talk about one particular partner that we've been working on with for a couple of years now. And that partner is Adobe. And I want to bring Vibor Kapoor from Adobe, Senior Director of Product Marketing, to join me on stage. Vibor, come on up.
How are you?
Very good. Thank you, Vibor, for being here. Really appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Super excited.
Are you enjoying Vegas at Acumatica Summit?
I am. I mean, this is my first Acumatica Summit. Lots of excitement, energy. I think you got a great thing going.
Oh, awesome, awesome, great. I'm glad you could be here.
Yep.
And I know Adobe is having a phenomenal year as well. So tell us a bit more about what's going on there.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal 2019. I mean, we believe that PDF and documents are at the heart of digital experiences. And, working with our customers and partners, continue to see a lot of growth, 250 billion, document opens within Adobe apps, 8 billion transactions. It's been a phenomenal year. Just the scale and momentum has been great.
250 billion PDFs opened? Oh my gosh.
Just within Adobe apps. And there is actually more PDFs that are open outside of Adobe apps. So that's just a small set.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So we've got the work that the team has been doing around Adobe Sign for a while. So we've got an exciting announcement to share with with our users today. Why don't you take the honors?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are super excited to announce that all Acumatica customers are going to get a 30-day free trial of the Adobe Sign Enterprise Edition. Anybody excited about that here?
Ooh, good.
Yeah. There's never been a better time to simplify, digitize your signing process.
Absolutely. We've had Adobe Sign integration into Acumatica for a while now, eliminating the need for having to shift that focus from outside Acumatica, go into the sign and come back. We can initiate a lot of that workflow from within Acumatica. But actually, the key piece I'm even more excited about is the stuff that we're going to talk next, which is the Adobe Pdf as a service. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, happy to talk about it. So with Adobe Pdf as a service, we basically are offering APIs and services so that developers and product managers, they can embed PDF viewing and other functions right within their own applications, helping transform, the digital document experiences.
Awesome. All right, instead of talking about the capabilities, why don't we take a look at it?
Sounds good.
All right,
Let's
awesome.
go see it.
Let's go to the demo station here. All right, let me get logged in first. Okay, I've got, let's see, get to the right system. Okay, so I've got a sales order here, right? This is the screen that you're all familiar with. And I've got a bunch of, obviously, of one file attached here with a lot of activities attached to the sales order as well. So if I go and open the file, so I see that I have a sales order PDF attached. So typically, when we're working with our customers, even within Acumatica, we have a lot of documents floating around, whether it's a purchase order, sales order. Mike showed the AP bill. We have statement of work, change order, all of those documents that are critical to run the business.
Absolutely.
And typically, if I have to make any type of comments or annotations on a document like this, my current workflow is I need to download this document, open it up, make those comments and annotations and so on, save it locally, and bring it back into Acumatica. One of the things that we challenge ourselves with the team is that, hey, can we eliminate all of that process and stay within Acumatica and get it all done, right? So let's see if we can do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and open this document by just calling the edit option. Oh, I timed out, of course. Okay, so I've got the file opening here. So this is a preview that you see today in Acumatica. What we have done differently here is now we have enabled some of the PDF as a service capability on this particular screen. So I have comment, highlighter, I've got annotations or drawings that I can make on this. This could be a good scenario in if you're doing design, specs, etc. So I can go ahead and pick this guy and say, hey, I want this ship to address to be changed. Please change address. I can just add a comment in here, and then I just look at the order stuff and then go, yeah, I don't think I want 1850 monitor. So I think that's incorrect. I just want 185. So I can put comments like this, and I can also just draw and say, hey, we talked about, I'll just pick the right control, we talked about a 20% discount here, right?
That's awesome.
So I can do all of this in PDF, which is you can do today in a PDF, but now you're doing that within Acumatica. Once you're done with all the changes, hit the save button. That's where the magic happens. Now that document gets saved in Acumatica as a new version. So that's today at 9:44 a.m.
And you're still in the Acumatica experience,
Absolutely.
Still native, and staying in context of what you're doing.
Totally. What do you guys think? Saves a lot of time?
Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, as you bring in more capability, one of the things that we're working with Adobe team is the ability to edit the document. That's the next step. And we're excited to kind of continue the work and share this sometime in the near future.
Yep.
Vibor, it's been a great partnership.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Excited
much
to
for
be here. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the summit.
Great. All right, I'm going to stay here in the demo. I'm going to talk about collaboration. That's the theme for the first one with the team members. One of the other products that we're working with Microsoft is the Microsoft Teams. We started working with Outlook and Office 365 for a while now, where we have the add-in, which actually Mike showed with this AP Build demo. I want to show you a quick example of how we are thinking about connecting with something like Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go ahead and open a case. So let me just use this tab, so I won't time out. I can go ahead and open up a case here. I'm going to create one to show how this will work. And a typical use case is you have a Teams channel, which is a group of members, whether it's a support group, whether it's tracking all the purchase orders, or it's an accounting group that's working with the AR and so on. You can put them all in a particular team channel. How do we keep them connected with the activities that's happening in Acumatica and have the notification going into Teams? So I'm going to set up a business account, or at least select one. See if I have picked the wrong one there. Put a contact in there. And then I'm going to say, this is a test case. Very creative. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. As soon as I do it, you'll see that a Teams notification pop up, or I can actually go to Teams, and it should say this is a text right there, right? That's the case that I just created. It comes into Teams. If that's the tool that I'm using, I don't have to leave and go back into Acumatica. I have a couple of options here. I can go ahead and open this case right now, or I can take the case and go look at the information and then get it assigned to me. Instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to go back into Acumatica and select the owner from within Acumatica. So I'm going to assign and then save it. And that will get notified on my Teams as well that, hey, Hughes actually took this case. But another important thing that we're looking at here is how do we enable presence and the ability to have the conversation from within Acumatica and Teams. You saw as soon as I assigned a person, and this will work across wherever we have the person object, where I can go in and select the Teams icon. Now, it's going to open up. This is just a validation that I can use Teams here. It brings the information from Acumatica with the context to the right person right there in the Teams chat. So I can start typing up information here, getting information about the cases, pending orders, etc. And all of that gets tagged in the activity within Acumatica as well. So that's something we're working on to enable that kind of collaboration without having to context switch between two different applications. What do you guys think? Good? So the next area we want to talk about in the notion of collaboration, John talked about the digital transformation yesterday. It's more than, it takes people, technology, the community all coming together. And one of the areas that we want to focus here is, what are some of the advancements happening with software, particularly around machine learning, that we can leverage in the context of Acumatica. We've been spending a lot of time in this space for the last couple of years, and the platform independence is a big deal for us. So we can choose the best tool for the trade. We can go work with Azure Cognitive Services or AWS Machine Learning Services or Google Cloud ML Services. We choose which one actually suits the need for the particular use case that we're tackling. And we showed the help document, the ML-powered help document last year. And we're starting to see a lot of traction because the quality of results coming in from somebody posting a question, it's gotten a lot better. Right? That's something the user doesn't see a difference. It's the same system, but we have now ML powering it behind the scenes. And then Jessica showed the expense receipt thing yesterday, where you can just take a picture, the Azure Forms recognize the data in the receipt, puts it into the system automatically. I think I'll finally might get my expense claim on time with that feature. But then one of the other things we want to do is also look at some of these other services out there that we can bring into Acumatica. And I want to talk about one particular service here. It's a company called Climacell. Before we do that, I'll just talk about what they do. But first, so there's few professions that we know where even a success rate of 25–30% is celebrated. Like, for example, baseball batting average. And if you get to 200, you're a rock star, right? I mean, ERP is not one of those, so don't get ideas. And economics, right? Economists, they're the same way. They're always good at predicting what happened 2 years ago versus what's happening in the future. And weather is the same way, right? There's lots of stuff that they predict that rain in the morning, sun in the afternoon. It's usually the other way and so on. And it's important that we get the weather information right, particularly in some industries, aviation. That's where ClimateCell kind of got started, where they worked with a lot of the airline and NASA and so on to understand how they can bring in localized data. So they can actually do what they call hypercast forecast, which is on a specific, based on a specific GPS coordinates. If you're trying to get a flight takeoff, it's not helpful if you have a weather coming in from a station that's 2 miles away at a high school. You want it a lot more closer, right, at that particular location. That's what ClimateCell does, and now we're able to bring that data into Acumatica. Let me show you a quick example of that. This particular scenario is in construction. Again, another area where weather is an important element, especially if you're working on a large project, 20-story tower, you're trying to put a scaffolding up there. You don't want to schedule that job and you know that there's going to be a 35-mile wind gust coming at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you want to have that notification going into the project manager so they can reschedule that job, and it saves a lot of money, and in some cases it saves people's lives. You don't want to get into risky conditions for the crew to work on. I'm going to switch gears here and go to this section here. We just open up the daily field report. This is one of the documents that we use in construction. Of course, I timed out on that one too. Doug and Ali and Mike spoke too long. That's the problem. All right, so this one here, I've got a DFR that's open. So what you see now on the right is the widget that actually gets the information from ClimateCell. It shows the weather packaged together nicely in the daily field report. In addition to showing that, we've also created this weather tab where we have free weather services already available within DFR, but you can also work with ClimateCell, where I can load weather conditions manually, or I can have it on a schedule every hour, every 30 minutes, just capture the weather as it's happening, and then set up some alerts based on conditions. If it's too hot, or if it's a windy situation, or snowfall, you can notify the project manager or supervisor to make the corresponding changes. Pretty cool and really, really helpful tool that a lot of our customers are excited about. So we're thrilled to work with ClimateCell and excited to get this to you sooner, later this year. The next piece I want to talk about is image recognition. It sounds pretty simple because we all use a lot of photos, right? I saw many people taking photos at the party yesterday. Again, another proof that what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. And we use Google Photos and Facebook Photos, and it's become pretty smart. You can find a lot of those images, but it's a pretty hard problem, right? Capturing and understanding what's in an image, it's not as easy as it looks on the surface. So here's one example of that. Which is a dog, which is a mop, right? It's for us, we have to think about it for a second. Think about what the machine learning have to process, right? The next one, which is a dog, which is a muffin. Grab the right one if you're hungry, okay? And it's the same problem when we look at a lot of the business photos, right, coming into ERP. How do we recognize them? And especially in construction and retail. For example, in retail, we have catalogs of products after products after products. If you have to search for it, how do you find them? You got to manually tag them or search by timeline and so on. In construction, the photo log is a big feature where everybody's taking pictures of the site as they're visiting a property. How do we enable some of this discovery easy? So I want to show you a quick demo of what we have done with one of the image recognition capability. Let's go take a look. All right, I'm going to do a quick search in files. This is going to essentially search in all files across Acumatica. So first thing I'm going to do is, since I showed you the dog image, I'm just going to do a quick search. Okay, so it's find both of those images, the one that looked like a muffin and one that looked like the mop. But what if I want to find a mop? There you go. It actually found the mop as well, right? Because in that picture we have a mop too. But in real scenario where this will be valuable is if I have a lot of construction projects going on and I've got tons of pictures, which is very common. Some of our customers have tens of thousands of pictures that they collect. So if I say I want to look at the construction site pictures, it's going to come in and show, okay, I've got two pictures here, just to illustrate the point. But that's not the one that I'm looking for. I'm actually looking for the construction site, with the crane, right? There you go. So imagine if you have 10,000 pictures of all these different criteria, I'm able to own in and filter based on what is actually in the image. I didn't manually tag them. I just upload the images to Acumatica. The image recognition machine learning picked it up and just ran with the process and automatically tagged and indexed the image for me to discover. Now you're doing search, it's like a natural language search. Right? If you happen to be looking for the product that Jessica showed earlier today, the headset, you can just type a pink headset, and it's going to find that item from the catalog. Cool? All right, next area I want to talk about is how we can bring a lot of the devices that I mentioned earlier. How do we bring that into the context of ERP? IDC is predicting that there's going to be about 42 billion devices, connected IoT devices, in about 5 years. I mean, we're already seeing that in consumer scenario, from appliances to autonomous vehicles to home automation. We're seeing extensive use of this in the commercial space, in manufacturing, in agriculture, in the warehouse scenario. One of the things that we want to show you today is an example of how we are using this by bringing Ali Johnny on stage to demo the IoT device. Now we can use that in the context of warehouse. Hey, Ali.
You ready?
Yes.
All right, come on down here. So IoT devices are everywhere, right? You just heard about it. But I think it's more than just them collecting data. It's how you interact back and forth with these IoT devices. And I thought I'd kind of show you guys what these devices look like so you get an idea if you've never seen one before. So if we can project here and close up. This is basically an IoT device. It's got an antenna. It's got a complete dual-core processor, memory, RAM, everything. There it is. Oh, that's the camera. All right. Anyway, so these devices can communicate back and forth with Acumatica. And when you combine them with other elements like a display, a battery, and a case, they can be put out in the field to collect information, send information back and forth. So in a demo earlier today, you guys saw that Doug went out and batch picked a bunch of product, bought them, put them into the sorting bins. And those devices I showed you can see them, they're here. And let me see if I can connect to the network.
So if you get a close-up shot on this, what it's showing is it's actually showing the content of the bin. So it's picking that information based on the bin and the information coming from Acumatica.
So communicating again back and forth with Acumatica, showing exactly what's in the bin. So what we want to do is, in the warehouse, we want to optimize the process so we can actually use paperless picking, and we can do scanless picking. So that's the goal, to keep our hands free. In the warehouse, we're picking up items, we're packing them. These scanners are very inconvenient.
Doug was complaining about not having a cart. He doesn't need a cart anymore.
That's right. So let's go to my demo station here. I'm going to be the Doug 2.0 warehouse here. So as a warehouse manager, I've been assigned, or a warehouse worker, I've been assigned a particular zone in my environment, and these are the 3 shipments that I've been, that it's ready for me to take from the sorting station and pack. So what I can do is I can simply go here and press Start Packing.
As soon as Ali does Start Packing, you're going to see the display change here. So if you can get the camera on the display here.
So now it says pick one out of this bin, pick one out of this bin. I simply take the items out of my bin, and as soon as I take them out, it's keeping track of how long it took me to do that job, so you can gamify your workhouse workers. And I've just pressed the buttons, and it'll connect back to Acumatica, so it knows that I actually picked the items. The labels print, and I put the items in the box, and I'm out the door. What do you guys think?
Awesome, awesome. All right, one other thing that we want to talk about in the context of devices, like how do we leverage automation even further, right? Eliminating some of the human labor, if you will. So let's talk about how we can bring in robotics into some of these scenarios. So instead of talking about it, why don't we just take a look at what we can do with it?
All right.
Okay?
You've got something hidden over here.
Yep. All right, here's my David Copperfield moment since we're in Las Vegas. Ready for the big reveal? All right, we've got this UR robot here. This is something that's actually mainstream already. We've seen this being used in commercial setting for palleting, for picking. You can mount a camera on it and start taking pictures for quality control. This can also have a scanner that can read the barcode or QR code and pick out the right item. So instead of Doug 1.0 or 2.0 picking, maybe Doug 3.0 can pick it faster. right? You don't need a manual process there. So let's go look at Acumatica first. Let's find an item that we want to ship. So I'm going to go ahead and create a transfer. So this is something we're working with one of our customers. The scenario is that they have a large warehouse, and they need to move items from a parts area to an assembly station. A very monotonous task, right? You got to go back, pick it. Doug was complaining earlier about walking back and forth and so on. Instead of having labor do it, there's labor shortage everywhere. Why don't we use robotics to automate some of that process? That's the scenario that we're trying to tackle here. So let me go ahead and log in again into this system here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a transfer where I'm going to take an item that's sitting here, which is still Jessica's laptop, right? And so let me just create a new transfer. I'm going to select
not too heavy. How much can these things pick up?
It's like a kitchen show. There's no turkey in there. No, the software works. It's all API. I'm talking about just the box. Don't get the wrong ideas. This is real API calls. Okay? All right, so I've got the transfer set up, and I'm going to pick an item. I'm not going to call it a computer. Okay, let's do a laptop computer. Okay, so I've got this done, but I need to first, I can have this guy pick, but I need somebody to take it from here and go. You want to do it?
I don't know. You're going to make me into Doug 4?
No. I've got somebody that's better than Doug 2 3.0. All right?
How about I wait for him over there?
All right, you go wait for there. Come on, join me on stage, please. Let's see. Here he's coming. I can hear the wheels turning. There you go. Here is Doug 4.0. It's getting better by the moment. All right, so I've got this. This is one of the mobile industrial robots called MIR. This is a MIR 100, very smart robot, right? It's got the sensors all around. It can pick up the light and box. It actually scans the stage. So when we first brought it here on Saturday, we did the mapping of the whole stage. Once we do that, it can just figure out wherever you want it to go. I can call an API and say, go from this point to that point. It'll find the optimal path. If there's a shelf standing in between, it'll just go around it. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is get this guy to pick up this item. So I'm going to go ahead and give that command. That's the item I want to pick. So this is a 6-axis robot. It's going to go ahead and pick up this particular item. I'm using a suction connector here.
It's pretty fancy.
There you go. It dropped it on the MIR. Now I'm ready to move this. So this will all happen together in an industrial setting. I'm just passing it to make the point on how these robots can work together. So now that I've got the right item that I need to move from a parts area to the assembly station, let me get the transfer. I do want to take it into R1S2 location. Let me go ahead and do a save. As soon as I do a save on my API, the robot knows where it needs to go, because all those maps are already connected and defined. So it's taking it from here, which is the parts station, over to Ali, which is the assembly station.
Come on, baby.
We're running at half speed. Ali was scared yesterday when we just raced through it. He's a lot more relaxed today.
Well, with this prime 1-hour shipping, we need it to be fast.
That's a good point. All right. So that's, again, just an illustration of how we can use multiple robots, again, with the power of the APIs, to communicate to the robot, pick the right item. Typically, you see a UR robot sitting in with a conveyor belt, picking up items and moving around to across the warehouse. Let's switch back to a slide, please. If you think about it, we covered a lot of stuff today, from the 2020 R1 demo into the stuff that Mike showed, and all of these new technology. For us, Acumatica as an ERP generally is known as system of record. Our emphasis in doing all of this is to turn into system of results. That's what we're working towards. Hopefully you see that with all of the demo that we showed you today. With that, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joy.
Woo!
Man, this leading edge technologies really gets me going, so it's amazing. It's so much fun to work with this stuff, but new ideas come in every day from customers, and just awesome. So we heard about future technology. You saw what Mike had to show you about some of the short things that we're working on that are coming very, very soon. But best of all, you have stuff, lots and lots of features you can get down today. Acumatica 2020 R1, I'm happy to say, beta is available. It's been published online, so if you haven't downloaded it already, go get it, start playing with it. run your payroll transactions. Woo! And it's going to be just awesome. So thank you very much. Make sure you come back to the stage. You don't want to miss Robert Ballard. He's incredible. So come back here to the stage at 3:15 and have a great summit and go to those breakouts.